We've all lied and begged our parents to stay home from school at a point in our life, playing the same old sick story like it's pre-installed into everyone from birth, and I'm guilty of doing the same. However, this fateful morning, I was not lying, but no one believed me until it was too late. Today was the day of the big test called the benchmark. It's a mock ACT-style test to sort of see what level of academic readiness you're at. It's required by the state, so it's a big deal. Now, before leaving to go to the bus stop, I told my mom I didn't feel too good. She dismissed it to just being nervousness for the test and didn't think twice about it, declining my request to stay home. So I went to school and started strangely feeling better on the bus right over. I had gotten through about a fourth of the test before break was called, and we were allowed to run outside, eat our snack for about 20 minutes. In that time, I ate a banana, now you remember that detail right there, and proceeded to chase a butterfly in a circle for about 15 of those 20 minutes. But hell, at this point, I don't even think that butterfly was real. We lined up to go back inside when I started feeling a bit off. We get seated and resume the test for about an hour when it happened. It all came out of me. A quick side note, the biggest rule for the test: do not contaminate it with any food or foreign party. You have a secondary sheet to write your answers on, but you are not to write on the test packet itself. All the banana erupted out of me, missing my test. Yes! And because of that, instead of people freaking out, they applauded me because I didn't throw up on my test. I was swiftly taken to the nurse's office where she discovered I had a 103-degree fever. My parents were immediately called and told me to take me to the doctors where they ran tests on me. Breathing in and breathing out. Chest x-rays, and the survey says I had pneumonia. Turns out I wasn't bullshitting my sickness, Mom, and I had one hell of a thing wrong with me. Just saying. And for the next 2 weeks, I had to deal with pneumonia and had to take the worst tasting liquid medicine ever because I was too much of a pussy to take the shot in the ass. Also, my best friend at the same time got pneumonia. We got to be pneumonia buddies. Hey, and that comes with the perk of getting to play on the gym computer instead of going to recess because we both couldn't breathe properly. So if there's a lesson to be learned here, maybe we should stop BSing about being sick so when the time comes, we are believed. And parents out there, next time you hear your child play the sick card, maybe you should stop and investigate whether or not they're actually sick or not, because you don't want them to end up like me and be a human geyser at school. I woke up, and as one does in the morning, I go for a pee. But this pee was like having barbed wire pulled out of me. So I was like, damn, what's going on? But then I felt it. The pain of having your crotch set ablaze. It was like an agni down there. It was so hot. So I did what any teenager does. Run to my mother and say my wee-wee's on fire. She took me to the clinic where I had to pee in a cup, which was surprisingly easy. I've got good aim. And waited for the doctor. The lady doctor walked in and asked what the problem was. I said my schmeat feels like it's got hot coals in it. Doc asked for my mom to step out of the room and proceeded to ask me some questions. Are you sexually active? No. Have you had gay sex recently? No. Lady, I am as virgin as you could get, all right? Virgin Mary would look at me and say, damn, that kid's a virgin if I've ever seen one. Doc then brought in a nurse and said, take off your pants. Take off my pants. Yep, in the cold as hell room with a hot nurse in the corner watching, I got my diddle fiddled. Even worse, I hadn't anticipated someone to go down under, so I had a bit of an afro going on. All I'm saying is the doc should have brought some hedge cutters. Doc then began rolling my balls around in her palm. I felt so humiliated. My sword was no sword in that moment. 'Twas but a pocket knife. Doc then finished up and said, "Well, all checks out. Turns out you were just dehydrated." Dehydrated? I had my marbles and baby carrot felt up only to be told I was thirsty. We are hauling around in her golf cart going about 15 miles an hour through the golf course in the dead of night. She's in the front seat laughing like Light Yagami, thinking she's some type of rally car driver, while I'm hanging on for dear life in the back screaming, "Slow down! Slow down!" And that's when it dawned on me. I remembered the speed bump coming up. I don't know if you've ever been in a golf cart before, but them bitches don't have shocks. And when you hit a bump, you feel the bump all the way from your ass to your neck. I yelled, "Hey, slow down, there's a bump coming up." And she, in the calmest voice, said, "I know, it's okay." Oh my God. This chick didn't slow down in the slightest. And like a falcon rocket, I shot into the sky, only to hit my melon of a head on the roof and snap my damn neck. I got a confession to make. I almost killed my friend. And I can explain. I like to preface this video that I don't condone killing people, let alone your own friend, but accidents do happen. It's 2007, one hell of a year apparently, and as you did back then, you played outside when you were a kid. Now, this near fatal day, my friend and I were outside playing Nerf, walking around the forest, and probably talking about Halo and boobs because we're childish. And on our way around the property, we stopped by a tree stump that had a rusty machete in it. Now, this thing had been here longer than I had been alive. It's like the Excalibur for our pea-brains that we were. So being the bravest and noblest of knights, I gripped that son of a bitch with all my might and unsheathed that machete from its place of rest, only to hit my friend who was standing behind me in the head. Yeah, I didn't know he was back there, but that didn't matter anymore. What did, though, was a rusty machete ricocheting off his noggin and knocking him out. I dropped the blade and shook him awake violently, relieved that I had not just offed my only friend, and he now, in a daze, called his mom on his flip phone. But before he could get a word out, I snatched that bitch, and I told his mom that he had butt dialed her, and that everything was okay. Nobody died, nobody was hurt. It was all to plan, it was all right. He had wandered off during that conversation, and I had found him around a corner, sucking on a Nerf dart and speaking like he had just, like he'd just been hit in the head. I, still freaking out and on damage control, asked him why he would even stand behind me. Luckily, with the 20 questions I had bombarded him with, he had snapped back to reality and agreed that he hadn't realized that I was the chosen one to unsheath that sword from the stump. We both agreed that, that's pretty stupid of us, mostly on my end, but we didn't agree on that. And to never talk about it again. I never told anybody. I don't know how to end this whole story, but if there's a lesson to be learned, don't be a shitty friend, and don't go hitting people in the head with rusty machetes. So I'm in gym class running laps around the gym when I need a fart. No big deal about that. So I let the crop duster loose, except I was deceived by my own body. That gas was no gas, but a shart. It felt like a squirt of WD-40 just shot on my ass and lubed me up. I had no friction in between my cheeks anymore, and I gained speed out of it. At the same time, it felt like a jellyfish was wedged up my ass now. I finished the run, though, and I sat down for roll call, and I was still questioning whether I indeed shit my britches, so I asked the coach if I could go to the bathroom. At first, he didn't want me to go, but after saying I didn't feel good, I think he got the idea and let me go. I derobed in the stall to find a translucent skid mark in my underwear, and I sat down to expel the applesauce that had plagued me, only to realize that the toilet was clogged. But hey, it's not my fault that the last person took a fitness gram pacer test size load before me. I was then faced with the dilemma of having to tell somebody that I had just pooped my pants. I told the coach that I needed the nurse because I felt sick, And when she came around, I pulled her to the side and I whispered, "Hey, I pooped my pants." She then had the audacity to say, "What?" And so I had to say even louder, "I pooped my pants." She then said if I had cleaned up, and I was like, "Yeah, why wouldn't I fucking clean up? But I ain't got no underwear, and I feel like I'm still gonna shit myself." She was like, "All right, let's go to my office. I got some underwear." Tell me why she gave me these Walter White tidy whities. Not only were they like 2 sizes too small, my galactic ass was falling out of these motherfuckers, and my balls were being undropped. I mean, shoved back into me. I'm pretty sure I went up a few octaves, but hey, that's